Hi, this is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 86. How to stop squeezing your voice as you sing higher is our topic today. This is our pre-show show, and I'm even earlier today than I usually am. I think we've got about 9 minutes before show starts officially, show. So our pre-show, just wanted to confirm that you can see and hear me okay, and welcome you here. Karuthica. Hey Chuck, it's 1 a.m. here in the morning. Wow, that is amazing. Well, thanks. Burno Inferno, hi. Looking good, sounding good. Awesome. Thank you, Burno Inferno. You guys are awesome. Karuthica, where in the world are you at 1 a.m. in the morning? My goodness sakes. I hope this is, I hope I don't keep you up all night. I hope this information is going to help you sleep well after the broadcast. So nice to have you here today. So we're going to talk about squeezing. So do you want to get rid of a little squeeze? Do you want to get rid of the squeeze in your life? Well, no, I'm not talking about your significant other. I'm talking about the squeeze in the voice. I wish I could say something easily, make it easy to get rid of acid reflux. Anyway, so if you can do what I'm going to show you today, you will get rid of squeeze, and you'll never have to squeeze again. And so it should be really good information. Not necessarily easy. Hey George, good to see you. Nice to have you here with us. Eupadios, hello. So if we can get rid of squeeze in our singing, it can make life so wonderful, so fun, so exciting. And really, it's after you get rid of this extra squeeze that really great things start happening in the voice. Not to say that we can't be singing or have to wait to sing before we're absolutely perfect. I'm not saying that, but Punit Kumar, hi, nice to have you with us today. Great to see you, all of you gentlemen, and Karithika, you have a picture of a young lady on your, so I'm sorry, I don't know, I'm guessing that Karithika is a female name, and so that's why you have a girl dressed with a bow on her hair as your, what do we call those? Your avatar. Okay, so have you ever squeezed when you sang? Let me know in the comment section. I could tell you a story about me squeezing, and I can still remember it. It's just like yesterday to me. And this is 45, well, this is back in 1971. 1970 to 71. When I was in high school, okay, so what is that, 40, I don't know. It's a long, long time ago. Somebody can figure that out. 41, 2018. Anyway, high school, my senior year. Dwaipayan, Dadaroy, nice to have you here today. I was a senior in high school, and I was in madrigals. And my madrigals, we worked harder than any madrigal group ever worked in their lives. I'm sure of it. Anyway, we sang everywhere all the time. We raised money. We had bake sales. We had raffles. We had, oh my goodness, we did everything. And we went to Europe for 3 weeks. The summer of 71, which happened to be also the summer that I graduated. And we had a fantastic trip. We toured all over Europe, landed in Amsterdam, went into, wow, it's getting cloudy now. I believe we went into Switzerland first. Then we went into After Switzerland, I went to Germany. From Germany, we went over to, gosh, I'm going to have to check my itinerary now. Oh my. I didn't think I'd ever lose the itinerary from my memory. We went to Italy, and we were in Venice. We spent the night in, believe in Florence, and then we went to Rome, and then we went to Milan, and then we went into France and spent several days in Paris, and then we went into London and spent several days in London, and then we had to make an emergency stop, and we stopped in Ireland, and we stayed in the Limerick Inn. I can't remember the name of the city now. We had engine trouble, and so we had one of our most memorable and fun and exciting performances that we'd ever had. We performed for the 740, all of the customers who were stranded with us in our 747. There was a big dinner hall, and we performed for, I think, in my memory, it was a couple-hour show, and what a blast. It was just so fun. And, of course, we thought it was exciting. We got another night out, So we were delayed. The flight was delayed in the U.S. We were all from the Midwest. We would fly into, on the way back in, I can't remember where I think we had to stop, but we ended up in Kansas City. Anyway, on that tour and throughout that whole year, I had a solo. I'm not sure it was, I think it was, it was a solo in the Madrigal group, and it was called Turtle Dove, The Turtle Dove, and it was in, I think, like 6 flats. It's an English folk song, and the high note was E flat. And and I had to sing 1,000 miles, my dear, 10,000 miles, and every single time I said 1,000 and fare ye well, and I was fare ye well, my dear. I know I was flat on the high notes because it was close to the E, which was the death zone for me. I could barely sing an E. The high note on this one is E flat. And so I squeezed for like years. Now, I squeezed every time I sang that because I didn't know how to do otherwise. And I remember feeling I was excited to have a solo, but I always felt like it wasn't adequate. And so how about you? Have you ever squeezed in a song? I did all year. And I didn't make the cut on our album either. We did an album. So say hi to Dada Roy. Yes, I started doing Nay and Bubble Lips, and suddenly magic happened. I learned to provide power in singing. Cool. Let me see. Zika, nice to have you with us today. And Dan Lala, nice to have you here. Daniela, I remember. Daniela, nice to have you, Daniela. So a couple comments, let me just get those. First of all, welcome everyone. This is Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 86. And our topic today is how to stop squeezing your voice as you sing higher. So do you want to get rid of the extra squeeze in your life? Do you want to get rid of your squeeze? No, I'm not talking about your love life, your significant other. I'm talking about the squeeze in your voice. And so we're going to talk about that today. Just let me greet some others here who have joined us. We have been in a pre-show show, and I've been going on about my Madrigal group who toured Europe many years ago. Hi, Ziga. Nice to have you here. Ziga is asking, did you go to Slovenia? I did not. Maybe there's someone else you're talking to. Dee Roy, I think I'm going to just say Dee Roy. It's easier for me than to pronounce your first name. Teach me to go professional, and I will fee you my 50% of the first contract and so on. Rest for parents and charity. Okay, awesome. Punit Kamar, my throat chokes when I go higher. It seems somebody is squeezing my throat. What should I do? You've come to the right place, Punit. We're going to talk exactly about what to do. Daniela, can you clarify what you mean by squeeze? Yeah, it's a good question. Thank you. Do you mean you tense up your throat and try to reach the higher note? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And so, as I would sing higher, I would sing you know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. All I could do is just grunt harder. Squeeze. Of course, I never would go that high. I always stopped at the E because I would break at the F. I know none of you have ever done this before. Zigga says, how much live streams are you going to do? No, my live streams I'm planning on doing, they're wonderful. I mean, we get to talk. I can answer your questions. I can demonstrate things. I think they're awesome for singing. So I'm planning on doing them. I'm probably going to be, my plan is to create a membership site, and we're going to be doing even more things inside the membership site with live video, maybe working with the members in front of the other members, like in a master class type thing. So it might be something you'd be interested in, you guys. We'll have more information on it in the next few weeks, coming weeks. Okay, so Zigga says or asks how much live streams. Okay, yep. Don't planning on stopping it. Captain, I want to get rid of the squeeze. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have come to the right place. So, anybody want to confess their squeezing? I've shared mine, and it was on a hard note too. 10,000 miles, and though 1,000 miles, I'm not sure which. Yeah, so though I roam 10,000, it was really hard. 1,000 miles. 1,000's a really hard note to sing that high, and I just didn't know what to do with that either. So it was too high for me at the time. I thought it was too high. It's not very high. I mean, if I were to do it now, I'd say 10,000 miles. So I can, it's like, it's not even high anymore. Not because I'm older, it's because I've learned how to bridge. Anyway, but we're going to talk, there's things to happen before that we can help get rid of this squeeze. Paprika, what is squeezing? So I covered this a second ago, but squeezing is, as clarified by Danlala, is when you tense up your throat and try to reach for a higher note. So when you're squeezing up, that is called squeezing. That's what I'm calling it, at least. George, let me catch the Zigga. Why don't we just go into falsetto to prevent squeezing? Oh, many do. Many do go into falsetto, Zigga. And that's unfortunate, too, because then you lose your power in your voice. So, yeah. 10,000. I could have done that. 10,000, 10,000. But then I've got to go back down. 10,000 miles. So a lot of times, if you go into falsetto, then you go back down, you can't blend into your chest voice. Now, So there are other ways to do that. Primarily, you want to start mixing your chest and your head voice. Falsetto doesn't really work very well because it doesn't blend, and you lose some of that strength in your voice. George says, sometimes I have to sing with the chorus wearing a tie. Will a loose collar be more beneficial to avoid squeezing on the way higher? George, it would be, I think it's anything tight around my neck bothers me. So, if you can get a different shirt that doesn't button so tight, and then on the tie, don't tie it so tight. I'm guessing it's maybe a tie that matches everybody else's. There's got to be a way to make sure that it doesn't fit too tight. But the tie, it shouldn't make any difference in terms of squeezing. It'll just make you more comfortable not squeezing. We'll talk more about some tips here in a second. So so Daniela says, I constantly squeeze because I can't always transition to mix easily, so I pull chest voice. Then Dan, Lala, shame on you. No, I understand. I really understand. But please know that it's not something that you have to do. We just have to help you get the right condition, the right coordination in the voice, so that you can get to your mix. And the better the more experience you get at it, the easier it is. Okay, so now let me just make one other little announcement too. In the coming weeks, we're going to be starting this week. I'm going to be starting to release some videos that are case studies. Sorry, case studies where people are going to be just sharing their story and kind of sharing what's happened in their voice and why they started learning about this information that I share all the time, and how things are going. Most everybody's on a journey, a singing journey, and so several are beginners and that are just getting started but are making some progress. Some have been studying for a while and are, further along in the journey. Others have maybe further along still. And so I think maybe you'll enjoy this. I've interviewed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I've interviewed about 6 or 7 people now, and I'll be sharing that. I've got another interview scheduled tomorrow, and then I'm just I think we'll call it for a while with those interviews. But I think you might like them. I think you might find that you can relate to a lot of the things that people are saying, particularly about singing higher, about singing confidence, about learning online, and what growth people have seen, about squeezing, about pull chest, high larynx, those kinds of things. So and what they're experiencing and the progress they're making. So I think you might like it. Ziga says, my voice starts to crack while singing lower. How old are you, Ziga? It can be because of puberty. When guys go through with their vocal change, they wake up in the morning and they'll say, good morning. Well, what the heck? And all of a sudden, no matter, you'll just be talking along, all of a sudden, it'll be down like in their new low voice. But every once in a while, I go up and say, high voice. So it's crazy. Ladies, be grateful. You don't go through that. You may sometimes just a little bit of vocal change in the ladies, but for guys, the change is substantial. I'm going to be 14. Ziga, the answer is yes, because of puberty. And it's going to go on for several years. It's never going to be the same from day to day. It's just going to be a crazy, wild ride. But that being said, you can do things to help. And there's lots of information on my website about that. Go to my homepage and just on Power to Sing and go to the search thing on the top and just put in teenage boy or teenage or Now, okay, so let's talk about what this exercise. I'm going to got a couple tips here. Number one is uh, the first thing I want to say is that um, we are. I'm going to be referring today from Seth Riggs' book, Singing for the Stars. Okay, it's a great book. I've had two of them. The first one I bought were cassette tapes, and it was back in 1996, maybe early 97 when I bought them, and I wore that one out, and then well, actually, I still have it, but I wanted to get one with a CD, and so I bought this one because it's got CDs now. And so I'm going to share with you an exercise from this book, and let me see. It's like exercise number 14. And if you've got the book, or you want to get the book, it's not very expensive. You can get it on Amazon. So it comes in there's like one exercise, but done several different ways. Okay. So the first thing that Seth Riggs says to do, and this is really about identifying where your singing should be, and he calls it where your speech level is, and where the sound is made. And so the first thing you do is this little, kind of a little, maybe squeaky door kind of sound. Mm, 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 mm. So the first exercise is that. Start below your break area. So you start lower in your voice, not real low, but just below the break, and then inflect it up. But don't let it break. Don't let it crack. Don't do that. I can get it up there pretty high. Now, I don't think you have to necessarily do it too hard, but do it just firmly enough that it doesn't break in the falsetto. You want to connect the tone from low through, you got it, through the bridge, up into your head voice. Okay, so once you get that done, then you're ready to start a couple exercises. And this is where you're going to get help for to stop the squeezing. Okay. So here's how it works. I'm going to put it on this scale, and I'm going to give you an example of what we want to do. I'm going to turn my name off now, but I just wanted you to see my cool little lower third there. I think that's what I do. What do I do? Do I do that? Okay. All right. So this is called now this is the ladies' scale. So Daniela, the same feeling. So that same little squeaky door, only you're starting lower, well down in your chest area. And you want to establish the connection every time you do the little staccato. So now it's not really hard. I'm not doing it too hard. I'm not saying I'm just I think Seth Riggs mentioned something like just a little brush stroke across the chord structure. It just feels very, very easy. Okay, nice and easy. Guys, you would be down here. And it's got that little gallop to it. Now, once you get that, I hope you try it. The whole time. Don't let it go in the falsetto. Don't want to do that. Do it as softly as you can, just firm enough to make sure that you're not going into falsetto. Now, once you get that down, I'm going to add one other thing here, and that is put your finger up here. If you do try that, just swallow. Put your finger and kind of press into your, below your fleshy part of your chin. Press in a little bit and swallow. Can you feel the muscle kind of pushing your finger out? Those are the muscles that we don't want when we sing. So these muscles here above the larynx are called the digastrics, and they will, when you swallow, they tighten up and pull the larynx up. And that's what we don't want. We don't want to go into swallowing mode, which is part of the squeezing, okay? So, in this exercise, begin to monitor yourself to see if you're tightening those muscles when you do this exercise. So, you start with the exercise. Ladies, start here. This is not easy because you don't want this muscle to fire and push your finger. You can use your thumb too. A little bit of push there. Well, I start to push kind of on the C sharp. See, I have work to do there. Down here, guys. So my muscles are sorry, pretty relaxed. So I'm managing to do that pretty well. So I'm going from here. That's all the way through the first bridge to the top of the first bridge. That takes you to the F sharp. Guys, girls, yours takes you to the C sharp, all the way through the first bridge. Now, anybody try it? I'd like to know if you've tried it. Let me go back up here and kind of pick up on a couple of comments here. Okay. My throat chokes when I go higher. If somebody is squeezing my throat, what should I do? So Punit Kumar asked that question. This is what you should do, and you want to practice it. And one of the big anybody could tell a big mistake you might make. I'll come back to that in a second. There's some mistakes. All right, let me jump down to where I was here. Bruno, first, I'm following the book right now, practicing all the exercises from the first part on a daily basis. Great, Bruno. I did that. I do it. I still do it. From vocal, it's not necessarily. It's not this. That's a vocal fry. It's not that. It's not a fry. It's just it's closer to a squeaky door. It's not it's just so yeah, not a fry. Try and do it without firing those muscles. Because here's the reason why. Are you getting it here? Can you tell that when these muscles fire, when the extrinsic muscles get engaged, that's when we're squeezing. We squeeze with these extrinsic, these outer neck muscles. We squeeze with those. This exercise is to help you sing from low to high without using those, because the sound's being made right here, right behind the larynx, right inside, right behind the Adam's apple. It's where your vocal cords are housed. So let me go back up here and pick up. Yeah, so thank you for asking that question, Dung Bei, from vocal fry. That's a good distinction. It's not a vocal fry. It's just that little squeaky door. Paprika, try yelling. Yeah. Oh, so Puna says, Chuck, sometimes I find my voice is not that powerful as it should be. Which means I sing with the guitar and I can't even hear my voice sometimes. It takes a little while, doesn't it, Puna, to sing correctly and sing with some power. Yeah, I wish there was just yeah, Paprika says just try yelling. Yeah, that'll give you some power for sure. That's what we all do, isn't it, at first? Zika says, it happens to me too. Yeah, really struggle to sing louder. I think it's better to kind of level your sound, lower the sound of your guitar. Good point. Yeah, over singing, singing too loud is always going to cause tension until we get the balance. There's a way of doing it with balance, but when we first start out, we're just pushing it too hard, and that's engaging all these extrinsic muscles. Yep, Punit agrees. All right, so you guys are reading all that. Basically, you have to keep the larynx down, just like previous live stream. Yeah, Ziga, nice call on that. Absolutely. Yeah, this is a result. Part of the results of doing this is that the larynx is staying level. It's not going up. We have to learn to separate making the sound from the extrinsic muscles. There's no reason why the extrinsic muscles aren't needed. These outer neck muscles aren't needed to produce the sound. It's just the intrinsic muscle with the addition of the CT, I think. The CT externalizes at one point, but it's just one of those muscles, so it helps tilt the larynx a little bit. But I'm talking about these outer things, that pull the larynx upward. So we don't need those. And you can see that. You can see my larynx. No, there's a little motion there, but it's not going. It's not disappearing up into your neck, which is what mine used to do. Now, all right, so let me get to a couple of these others. So basically you have to keep the larynx, yep. But this exercise, Ziga, will keep the larynx down if you do this as I'm showing you. I'm trying to get everybody's comments here. Thanks for really giving a lot of comments today, you guys. Appreciate your insights and input. Bruno Inferno says, I'm going to put his acoustic guitar to go a little bit easier. Yes, larynx down, just as temporary imposition. Now, I'm actually, and that's a good point, Bruno, is that when I'm doing this exercise for you guys today, I'm not really imposing it down. I'm not really saying, I could do that, but I don't think you need to. Let me qualify that. If you feel the larynx driving upwards, then you may want to add a little bit of that dopey sound. But if you can do it just relaxing. Just do it, relax, because that's really where we want to get to anyway, right? We don't want to have anything like that in our voices or anything like that. But if you find that you just can't do it any other way, then it's probably, you can try that just temporary kind of a dumb sound to see if you can actually, grab a hold of the larynx and pull it down almost. Carlos says, what is he saying? Oh, yeah, obvious. Okay. Ziga, anytime. Okay, you guys have got some things going here. Hi, Chuck. It seems I have two different head voices. My first head voice is from C4 to C5, and if I go higher, I break into my second head voice, which is from E4 to G5. Can you help me? Large G. Yes, I think I could probably help you. I'm not sure exactly what's happening. I'd have to probably hear exactly what's happening and listen to you go from the first from your C to the G5. Really, what we want to try and do is get to the point where there's just one voice, right? Ran out of air. But that was all one voice. I didn't switch in the falsetto, and I didn't, or break in the falsetto. It was just, I started out in high chest, bridge into head voice, Now I'm really, into my, really almost into my, let me see, 1, 2, 3, going into my fourth bridge. So that's all connected. I'm not doing it in falsetto. Connected tone. So that's what we want to get you to. It's probably, large G, it's probably something to do with the rising larynx. Also, it sounds like you might be a tenor. Joe says, helps me to keep my throat open. Yeah. I want to get to the part 2 of this. We've got so many comments here because I got 2 other variations of this one exercise that are going to help you. But it says 2 a.m. here. Whoa, feeling sleepy, but it's an important thought. Hey, Punit, thank you for hanging in there. Carlos says, one thing I found to help me stop squeezing my voice as I go higher is doing bubble lips. Awesome, Carlos. Awesome comment. So totally right. As I hold my cheeks, my index and middle fingers. And that's such a great exercise to do the same thing. Until the contractions are gone. And you see now. He says, place my thumbs around my neck. All right, place my thumbs around my neck, larynx, and notice any weird contraction and then redo the scale. That's probably a pretty good idea, Carlos. Dana says, Daniela, another tip I've heard, and it sounds really strange, and it's not a joke, but when you feel you might squeeze, if instead you tense your butt or lower your legs, it's supposed to divert tension. Never tried that before. I have heard of squeezing there for breathing, but I haven't heard of squeezing there for, to take the tension away from other things. Me personally, Dana, I feel like I want to have relaxation everywhere because it's pretty hard for me personally to have tension somewhere like in my abs or in my gluteus maximus to not have any tension creeping into other places of my body. So are you or Seth a supporter of this? I don't think Seth would support it from what I've seen him before. Chuck, I have to go. Thanks for all your helpful tips. Ziga, come back. We're going to give a couple more variations on this exercise, and it'll help. Still can't find mix. Largie, usually it has to do with the larynx coming up, and then tension. This tension is a really big thing. So what we're doing today is going to help you. How do you know your vocal type? I'm going to tell you at the end of this, how do you know your vocal type? At the end of this broadcast, down in the description below, in the description area, there'll be a link. Get your vocal type. Just go to that one, click on that, watch the videos, take the test, and you'll get your vocal type, okay? Okay, so many comments here. I gotta take another step forward here. All right, so here's the second variation. Instead of doing the gallop, let's do this in triplets. So it's but again, same thing. Monitor yourself here and make sure that your muscles aren't pushing against your thumb. Now you can hear I'm not doing that really hard. I'm just doing it enough to establish the tone all the way from chest up to head. And you can hear there's no break in it. Well, there is every triplet. I stop and restart it. And that's a good practice right now. Ladies, your key would be here. Same thing. So let me just get right to the, so that's just doing it in triplets, and you reestablish the tonal, connect that tone every triplet. Ladies. And now, this is not easy to do. When I first started it, I thought it was impossible because my larynx just moved up a lot. But over time, you can separate, you can isolate these extrinsic muscles from the vocal cords. You can relax this so that the muscles don't pull it up. I took a jazz dance class once when I was in college, and we did stuff called isolation, where you kept your upper torso. You can move your upper torso, but you kept the lower torso separate from that. So the lower torso was just immobile, and the upper torso was moving. And this is really what we're talking about: using one set of muscles, that's the vocal cords inside, without the other muscles being engaged, or vice versa. So we want to isolate the extrinsic muscles from the little vocal folds. The vocal folds don't need it. This is where it starts to become really interesting. Try it now. Try it all legato. Ladies up here. So it's just, again, monitor yourself. It helps me take a low breath and kind of pull my tongue in a little bit on the top so that I'm using the air to help me through that. I'm not grabbing it, trying not to. This is the ladies. So it's feeling pretty good there. Guys down here. So again, trying to do it without this thing going up, disappearing inside, like when you swallow. You can see it's just staying right there. That's not too bad. So that starts to decouple the tone, the tone generating area from the vocal cords from these extrinsic muscles. So they're not saying, you can, you notice what's not there is the tension. So it just takes a while, guys, but it's possible. I guarantee you it's possible. I couldn't do this at first, but this makes a difference. Really makes a difference. Your brain starts to say, wait a minute, I don't have to grab it. So it's really, really, really big. Okay, so we're getting down to the final few minutes here. Let me just see if I can. Anybody new that? Ayas Franco. Hi. Senatine Jade. Hey, nice to see you again. Thanks for joining us today, you guys. Okay, so going back up to where I left off, see if I can finish up these questions. Just to remind you that if you don't have your vocal type identified, there'll be a link down below in the description. It says get your vocal type. Click on the link. It takes you to the videos, explains what the vocal type is. It explains, I give you examples of each of the vocal types: full chest, high larynx, slip falsetto, light chest, no chest, mix. And then there's free downloads for the exercises for your vocal type, which are designed to counteract the negative things that are going on in the voice and promote this kind of thing, okay? So Carlos says he used to be pull chest, high larynx as well. Still occasionally pull. Those exercises have done wonders for my voice. Great, Carlos. Nice to hear that. Okay, so Dennis says, let me see. You guys are answering each other's questions, I think. But Carlos says, then do the vocal exercise for pull chest, high larynx, and guarantee you'll stop tensing. Okay, great, Carlos. Thanks for your help today. I see. Thank you so much for answering my question. So I will not use that technique. Oh, I see. Is that the squeeze technique, Daniela? Yeah. Pretty much, I try not to do anything to add tension anywhere, really. Large Jesus, yes, yeah, I am already doing them. Really nice exercise. I'll keep doing them daily. You know what? You're going to get good at it if you keep with it, and really be strict with yourself. Don't let these muscles push your thumb out or your finger out, and make sure this thing is just nice and relaxed. It'll come. It'll come. We've all been there. Carlos, thanks you guys. Yes, absolutely. Yep, and the smooth tone and connected, so it's not breaking on the way up. There's not getting that tension. Oh, by the way, is singing about training the voice or about using it correctly? It's both, isn't it? Really, when you think about it, you want to train your voice so you can use it correctly, and that extends the life of your voice. It extends it into your golden years. I mean, I'm 65. And I know for a fact this is helping my voice. If I could eliminate the reflux, then I'd be, really sitting high. Some days are better than others. Today's not too bad, really. Oh, by the way, I was thinking of internet. Yeah, it's about training the voice so that we can use it correctly. And so what you're doing is you really want to get the technique so well ingrained in you that when you're singing, you don't think about it. You don't want to think about technique. You want to think about the song, the lyrics, and so forth. Franco says, is there any way to release tension? Specifically, I can only sing high and chest on O's or Ahs, then up to B flat 4, and then I flip. Franco, this is the way. This is the way to. This is one of the best ways. This exercise was designed to disassociate the extrinsic muscles and tension from the tone-making mechanism, the vocal cords. You get better at this, and you get to the point where then it doesn't matter what vowel you're on. Leslie says, will it ever be possible for me to belt a note in the fifth octave? Fifth octave, my highest chest voice note at the moment is F sharp 4. Ever possible for me to belt? It depends on your range, but a lot of it depends on also your bridging. If you're able to bridge, your range really increases. You can add an octave. I've added an octave to mine. like I said before, I wouldn't sing E was my last note, but I'm now able to sing much higher. I think I already showed you, went up to the high C. Now it wasn't or a high G, G5. That wasn't a belt, but so you can definitely make a lot of progress. Whether you can go belt, all the way up to the F sharp 5 is uncertain, but absolutely you can increase that range. 17J, so, yo, okay, hey, where have you been? All right, so, oh, hi, Zika, you're back, cool. All right, let me just see. Yes, to reiterate what you're saying, Chuck, your exercises that we can download are fantastic. Use them every day. Thank you, Danielle, I appreciate that. I'm glad that it looks like a lot of you here have used them and are getting good results. And that's the idea. I'm exercising high larynx. Chuck, I'm exercising high larynx pull chest because that's my vocal type. Does it also help with smoothing my breaks between registers? Yes. Eventually you'll have no breaks. No breaks. Daniela said a bad word, so she retracted it. I'm just kidding, Daniela. Rand said, have you explained why I can't sing? Can you explain why I can't sing high if I don't do O's or A's? Squeeze with the E's or is so much so that with the O's I sing B4, and with the E's I can sing to the E4. A lot of it has to do with how the resonance affects whether or not the resonance is transitioning into your head voice, or whether it's locked down below the hard palate. And so there's a different energy, largely, there's a different energy that affects the vocal cords. And if they're not allowed to adjust appropriately, you really can't get through there without cracking. And it changes with the vowels. Some vowels are narrow. If I said, that's a pretty closed vowel. Or ooh, but if I said is a and that's a really, really difficult vowel, and then there are everything in between. And so some of them are harder to do than others. But once you learn how to bridge and you get used to that mix area in the bridge, it doesn't really matter what the vowel is. Or the closed vowel, like oo and e, as I showed. So everything in between. You get to the point where you find this balance between air and muscle, and you learn how it feels to go through the bridge without disconnecting, and you can do it. And that high C is, remember, I could only sing to the E above middle C, and so it takes some time to do that. I couldn't do that right at first, but it's absolutely possible, for sure. Okay. If when we have a break or something like that, it's usually because the larynx is coming up. That's just what happens. So if I said the larynx comes up, the vocal cords break apart. Well, they don't break apart, but the tone disconnects, the tone breaks, and you lose that coordination. So, all right, you guys, these 3 exercises are really very, very powerful, and Gustavo Calix. Hi, nice to have you with us today. Gustavo, he says, my voice, it sounds low and without power. Can you exercise to have a better chordal closure? Yes, you can, Gustavo. Again, go to the description below in the video description. There's a thing there that says get my vocal type. If you're having trouble getting your vocal cords together, you'll probably be a light chest, no chest, and vocal type. And then there are exercises specifically to help you get your chord structure to come together more firmly, okay? So that's in. So again, go to the description below and click on get your vocal type. It looks like this. Let me. So that's what it looks like on the website. I think I just covered up. I can't see it now, but I don't understand what I just did here. I can't see the image, but I think you can see it now. So go to the description, click on that. It's links to get you to the place where you can get your vocal type. All right, got to close. I got a student coming in 12 minutes, and I got to get things kind of straightened up here. So thanks for joining me today. Really a lot of great comments, and thank you for being here, all of you. Just great to see you again. And this exercise will help you learn to vocalize from your low to your high voice through the bridges, from chest into head and through the bridges back down again, without the extrinsic muscles squeezing it. And so you can stop the squeeze by doing these exercises until you get good enough that you don't even feel these muscles now kicking your thumb and moving your thumb around. It's just, there's just no tension there. And then things get really exciting. So I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. Thanks, everybody.